We'll start in a comfortable seated position. So sit with your legs crossed, hands and palms facing upwards, eyes closed, and just take a couple of gentle breaths in, gentle breaths out. And then place your right hand on the floor by the side of you. And we're going to stretch over to one side with the other arm. So gentle stretches, gentle movements. And then place the other hand on the other side and stretch over with your right hand, just moving however is comfortable. And we're going to slowly shrug the shoulders backwards a couple of times, 3 times maybe. Loosen up the shoulders, the top of the arms, and then we're going to shrug them the other way. So shrug them forwards, smile, enjoy the movement. And then tiptoe forwards on your fingertips and just come all the way down as far as you can. And if you can bring your head down, then bring your head down and just feel a lovely stretch in the arms, the top of the back. Walk your hands over to the right, stretching down the side of the body. Drop the head a little, not too much. Try and keep it in line with the spine. Keep breathing normally. And then walk the fingertips over to the other side, getting a stretch on the left side of the body. Then lift the head. Walk the fingertips back to the front and then come up to center, neutral spine. Roll the shoulders back again, just to get them loosened up a little. Bring your hands to heart center. And then fingertips to ceiling, and then stretch your arms above your head, and using one hand to pull the other elbow towards the head, but try not to drop the head too far forward. Gentle pull across the elbow, and then release, point the fingertips to the ceiling, and gently pull the other elbow towards the head. Lovely stretch in the arms and the upper back. Point the fingertips to the ceiling, hands to heart center. Now we'll do eagle arms, so drop one arm under the other, and if you can get your palms to touch, that's great, but if not, you don't need to. And then gently just lift the arms. Really good for the upper back. If you're working on a computer all day, this is the perfect thing to do. You could even do it a few times a day. Relax the head and the neck. Then unravel the hands, hands to heart center, lift the hands upwards and place the other arm underneath the other one. And again, eagle arms, lifting the elbows a little. Try and relax the shoulders, relax the head, relax the neck, and just breathe normally through the stretch. And then release the hands, hands to heart center. And then put the hands on the knees and turn the head to look to the left. And then bring your head down through the chest up to the other side. And then back down over the chest and over to the other side. Just make it a gentle movement so you're not overstretching the neck. So just moving the head from one side to the other. And then hold it in the center, looking down. And then lift the head up to neutral position. Then drop the head to the right, so the ear is dropping towards the shoulder. And then place your hand gently on the side of the head. Don't place pressure, just let the just let the weight of the hand rest on the head. And then turn the head downwards, so your nose is coming down towards your armpit. And just hold here for a couple of breaths. And then turn the head back to neutral position and then look up as if you're looking towards the ceiling, maintaining that gentle weight of the hand on the head. And then release the hand, lift the head and drop the head to the other side and place the left hand onto the top of the head. Just gentle pressure, just the weight of the hand, you're not pulling anything. And then turn the head to look down, almost as if you're going to sniff your armpit. And then bring the head back through center and then look up towards the ceiling. Stay here a couple of breaths. And then bring the head back to neutral, release the hand, and come back up. Shrug the shoulders back a little, once, twice, and then maybe forwards, once or twice. Releasing any tension in the upper back and the neck and the shoulders. Then we're going to come onto all fours. Your hands should be beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips. Pointed toes. And we're going to drop the belly, lift the head, breathe in, and then breathe out, lift the belly up, arch the back and drop the head down. And then continue with the movement with your breath. So arch the back, lift the head, either to the inhale or the exhale, sorry. It really doesn't matter, just as long as you're matching the movement to the breath. Dropping the belly, lifting the head, and then arching the back upwards, dropping the head. This is wonderful for the spine. And just keep the motion going. Should feel really good. And come to neutral spine, move the hands forward a little. And then we're going to do thread the needle. So put the left hand to the top of the mat and then move your right arm all the way underneath the other hand, the other arm. And you should get a really good stretch across the top of the back and the shoulders. And just breathe normally here. And then come back up onto all fours. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So shift the right hand forward a little and then thread the left hand underneath the right arm. If you need to shift your right arm up a little bit more, that's fine. So just stay here and just rest very gently on your shoulder and your arm. And again, it's a really, really good stretch if you're working on a computer all day. Thread the needle. And then come back up onto all fours. And bring your toe mounds together and your knees to at the width of the mat, and come down into a child's pose. So bring the arms outstretched in front of you and drop the forehead to the mat. Or if you need a blanket to rest the forehead onto, that's fine, or a couple of blocks, or a pillow. And just breathe normally here. And then come back up onto all fours. Drop the belly again, and then lift the belly. Just a couple of cat-cows again. And then move the body however you need to move it to get a good stretch. So you can move the bottom one side to the other as you're doing the cat-cow. It doesn't have to be a static. It doesn't have to be up, down. You can move it around a little bit, just to really get the muscles around the spine moving. Whatever feels yummy is what you should be doing. So arching the back. And then come back to neutral spine. Curl the toes under. Bring the arms forward a little bit and we're going to push up into a downward facing dog. So push the heels down. Press the fingertips into the mat. And then bend one leg, straighten the other. Bend the other leg and straighten the other. And just move like that just to get the body used to the first down dog of today. Try and straighten the back if you can. And then bend both knees and push the feet back into a downward facing dog. Doesn't matter if the heels don't touch the floor. And then we're going to move forward into a plank. Hold here. And then place the knees on the floor, point the toes, and then gently come all the way down to the floor, pelvis first. Let the forehead kiss the floor, and then roll up into a cobra. So just the top half of the body comes upwards, and then roll all the way back down to the floor. And then curl the toes, and we're going to push back up onto all fours and then back up into downward facing dog. So push those heels down, push the bottom up, bend both knees and then push the heels back down. Enjoy the stretch. Bend both knees and then lift the right foot all the way up and then bring knee to nose and then plant the right foot next to the right hand. And I'm doing that again for some reason. To show you that you don't have to do it in one go. You can do it in 2 little steps to get there if you need to. And then when you're ready, we're going to lift the left foot up to meet the right. So forward fold, legs as bent as possible, or as bent as you need them to be. And then straighten the legs, bring your fingertips to your shins, straighten the back and gaze down. And then forward fold again. Place the hands on the floor. Now lift the hands up. Push the bottom back as if you were going to sit down. And then engage your abdominals and gently fold yourself all the way up to standing. Fingertips to the ceiling, hands to heart center, and then fold all the way back down again. Fingertips to shins. Inhale. And on the exhale, forward fold. Place the fingertips on the floor. We're going to step back with the left leg this time. Low lunge. And then plant the fingers, the hands on the floor and push back into a downward facing dog. So push both heels back, bend both knees and push both heels back into the floor if you can get them to the floor, but you don't need to. And then fold forward into a plank. Hold here for a second and then plant the knees on the floor, point the toes. And then come down, pelvis first, all the way down to the floor. Allow the forehead to kiss the floor. And then come up into a cobra, so curl the upper body up. Head comes up last, and then curl all the way down. Head kisses the floor. Curl the toes, come back up onto all fours. And then bend the knees, and then push all the way back into a downward facing dog. Bend both knees, and then push back again. And then bend both knees again and lift the left leg high up and then bring the knee to nose and plant the left leg by the left hand. Low lunge. And then bring the right leg up to meet the left and fold over your legs. And then lift up, inhale, fingertips to shins, exhale, fold forward, inhale, exhale. We're going to push the bottom down and come all the way up to standing, engaging the abdominals at the same time. So hands to heart center, standing feet hips distance apart. Take a couple of breaths here. Fingertips to ceiling, slight back bend, and then bend all the way forward, forward fold. Fingertips to shins, inhale, exhale, fold forward. Place the fingertips on the floor and step back with the right foot. Low lunge. And then come all the way up to stand. Fingertips to heart center. And then come all the way down. And then twist around to your left, placing your right elbow over your right knee. And if you can gaze over your left elbow, then do. But if not, just keep your gaze downwards. It's a good twist, it's very good for digestion. And then come back up to standing. Place the hands on the inside of the left foot. And either stay here, or if you can come down onto your elbows, then come down onto your elbows. But it is quite a heavy stretch, so you could always do this leaning on a block. But otherwise, just stay up on your hands. A lizard pose. Then come back up onto your hands. And then place one hand either side of your left foot. Drop the back knee down and point the back toes. And now come up onto your knee. And then just gently stretch down. Let your body weight come down. And then if you can, bend backwards slightly. And you'll get a fantastic stretch down the front of your right thigh. This is really good for people who sit all day long on the computer. And then we're going to come back up, so place the hands either side of the foot. And then straighten the front foot and flex the foot. Straighten the front leg and flex the foot and fold over your straightened leg. Really good hamstring stretch here. You might not be able to straighten the leg altogether, but that's fine, just as long as you're getting some stretch in the hamstring. And then come back onto the left foot, lift the back leg up, plant the hands, and then push back into a downward facing dog. So push the bottom up towards the ceiling, and then come forward into a plank. And then place the knees on the floor, point the toes, and we're going to come all the way down, pelvis first, forehead touches the floor, and then push the upper body up into a cobra, head comes up at the last, and then fold all the way down, head kisses the floor, and then curl the toes and come back up onto all fours, and then push back into a downward facing dog. Bend both knees, and then push the heels back as much as you can. Bend both knees and lift the right leg high, bend both knees and bring the knee to nose, planting the right leg on the front of the mat by your right hand. And then come up, bring the left leg to meet the right leg, and then fold over your knees at the front of the mat. Then inhale, and on the exhale, bring fingertips to the shins, and exhale, fold forward. Push your bottom back as if you're going to sit down, engage all the abdominals, and then come up to stand. Just grabbing my block there because I'd forgotten to have it handy. Fingertips to ceiling, and then come down, hands through heart center, fold forward, inhale, exhale, bring your fingertips to shins, inhale, exhale, fold forward. And then bring the left leg back, low lunge, and then come all the way up to stand. Bend the front leg, keep the back leg straight, and then bring hands to heart center, and then twist over so that your left elbow is over your right knee, and hold here in the twist. If you can gaze over your right elbow, do. If not, just gaze down. Now bring the hands back to center, and place your hands on the inside of your right foot, and here I'm showing you what you can do with the block. So you can use the block underneath your elbows if you don't want to put your elbows all the way down to the floor. And hold here, lifting the back leg. And then place one hand either side of the right foot. Drop the back foot, the back knee rather, and come up onto the back leg, and then making sure that your front knee doesn't go over your ankle, sink forward into the bend and get a really good stretch in your left thigh. And then come back, sink forward, straighten your right leg, flex the foot, and just lean over your straightened leg. Get a really good hamstring stretch. And then come up, roll forward, uncurl the back toes, and then push back into a downward facing dog. Pushing the heels down. Bend both knees, and then push the heels down even further before coming forward into a plank. And drop the knees to the floor, point the toes, and then pelvis first for coming all the way down. Forehead kisses the floor, and then you push up, curl up into a cobra, head comes up last, and then fold forward, curl the toes, come back up through plank this time, and push back into a downward facing dog. Bend both knees, and then point the left toes to the ceiling, nose to knee, and then place the left foot at the front of the mat. And when you're ready, bring the back foot to meet the front foot and fold forward. Inhale, exhale, fingertips to shins, straighten the back. Inhale, exhale, fold forward. And then bend your bottom down as if you're going to sit down, engage the abdominals and come up to stand. Hands to heart center. Fingertips to ceiling, and then fold all the way down again, hands to the floor. Fingertips to shins, inhale, exhale, fold forward. Place the hands on the floor, either side of the feet, step back with your right foot, and then follow it with the left foot, and push back into a downward facing dog. Bend both knees, and then come to all fours. Cross the feet over, so cross your legs and then come forward into a seated position. So just scoot your bottom forward onto the mat. And then come to lie down on the mat. So let the feet drop open to the side, palms facing upwards, and just relax here in Shavasana, just for a few breaths. So after all the warm up, we're just going to get the heart rate down again. So gentle breaths in this relaxation pose. And then bring the feet together, hands by the side of your hips. Inhale, and on the exhale, lift the right leg, keep it straight all the way up as far as you can get it, and then bend the knee and hug the knee to the chest, keeping the left leg straight. So left leg straight, right leg bent, and hold to the chest. And release the leg, point the toe to the ceiling, and slowly bring the straight leg all the way back down to the floor. Take an inhale. On the exhale, lift the straightened left leg, so point the toes all the way to the ceiling, and then bend the leg and hug the left leg to the chest. And release the hands, point the toes to the ceiling, and slowly bring the leg down to the floor. And then take a breath in Shavasana before bringing your feet back together again. And then bring both legs up, either one at a time or both together. And then bend both knees and hug both knees to the chest. You can place your hands underneath your knees if you have any knee problems, or over the top of the shins, whatever's most comfortable for you. And just hold here and breathe normally. And then breathe in, and on the exhale, lift your head. And try and breathe normally with your head lifted. And then gently let the head go back to the floor. Release your hands, point the toes to the ceiling, and then bring the legs down, either one at a time or together. If you have lower back problems, just bring your feet further apart as you bring them down. And then relax in Shavasana for a few breaths. And then take the block if you have one, or you can use a rolled up blanket, and place it underneath the lower part of your back, so the flat part of the back. And then lift the legs with them straight, and it should be comfortable for you to just lay here with the legs straight in the air. And then let the hands just relax out to the side. You can also do this against the wall if you can't hold the legs up, but with placing that block underneath it's just above your bottom, it should enable you to be able to hold the legs up comfortably for quite a while. This is a very good anti-aging pose. This is the easier pose to shoulder stand. So if you don't want to do shoulder stand, then you start with this. Legs in the air. Should feel quite yummy actually. And bend the knees and just place the feet on the floor as you remove the block or the blanket from underneath your bottom. And then give your knees a hug and gently rock from side to side. And then straighten the left leg and then straighten the right leg and relax for a few breaths in Shavasana. And bring the feet together, hands by the side. And then gently come up onto your elbows and drop the head backwards. And you want to just gently rest on the crown of your head. This is called fish pose, particularly good for thyroid problems. So hold here for a few breaths. And when you're ready, you want to lift yourself up onto your elbows, very carefully, mindfully, so you don't hurt your neck. And then release back all the way down. Let the legs fall open, the hands open to the side, and take a couple more breaths in Shavasana. And then bring the knees up to the chest so that you can come up to sit. So you just come up easily and comfortably. And cross the legs over and then come over your crossed legs so that you're on all fours. So however you do it, just come and meet me on all fours at the front of the mat. And then we're going to come forward, all the way forward, to lie prone position. So lie on our belly. So allow the feet, the legs to come apart. Allow the feet to drop so that if you have bunions, for example, you're resting on the bunions. And your head should be resting on your hands, which are in the front, folded underneath your forehead. And this is called crocodile position. Now bring the feet together and bring both arms up in front of you, so you're almost doing like a Superman pose. And then when you're ready, inhale. On the exhale, lift the left leg and the right arm and hold. Breathing normally. And release. Inhale. On the exhale, lift the right leg and the left arm. And release. Bring the feet back apart and the hands underneath the head, resting in crocodile pose. And bring the feet closer together. Hands out to the front as before. And then inhale, and on the exhale you want to lift both arms and both legs at the same time. Hold and try and breathe normally here. And then release, relaxing back into crocodile position again for a few breaths. And bring the feet together. I'm going to push back up onto all fours. Bring the toe mounds together. Spread the knees wide and then push back into a child's pose. And this releases any tension in the lower back. So just relax in child's pose for a couple of breaths. And then come back up, push yourself back up onto your knees. Just readjusting my hair. So just sit on your knees for a moment. And you want to make 2 fists with your hands and then place the fists just below your belly button. And then inhale. And on the exhale, fold over your fists and come all the way down. If you can put your head on the floor, your forehead on the floor, then do. If not, just relax forward. And then let your elbows just flop to the side. And this is really, really good for digestion. I did do this pose in one of my free YouTube videos in Yoga for Digestion recently, if you did follow that video. So if you're constipated or anything like that, this is a recommended pose to do. And then slowly come back up, release the hands. And then bring your arms out to sort of Michael Jackson Thriller arms. And let the hands flop forward. And then gently pull the hands forward. So place one hand underneath the thumb of the other one and just pull gently on the fingers. And then do the same thing on the other side. Just to give your hands and your fingers a little bit of love, because they do get neglected these days. And then on the other hand, push the palm upwards and gently pull back on the fingers. And then swap sides, gently pull back on the fingers. And then come back up onto your knees. Curl the toes. I'm going to give the toes some love this time. So this could be painful if your feet are neglected. So just curl the toes under and then put your weight onto your feet. And then roll side to side so that each toe gets a little bit of pressure on it. Might hurt, but it is good. And then come forward onto all fours, and then we're going to push back into a downward facing dog again. So push those heels back, relax and breathe. And then we're going to walk backwards up so the hands meet the feet. So bend the knees considerably and then push back as if you're going to sit down, and then lift the hands up. And then hold this position, chair pose, just for a couple of breaths. And then come to stand. So come to stand in the center of your mat, mountain pose, so feet hip width apart, and just allow the hands to relax to the side, palms facing forward, close your eyes, and just take a couple of breaths. And just adjust your feet, adjust the weight of your feet so that you can balance on one foot. And on the other foot, either place the foot on the inner calf or the inner thigh, but not on the knee. This is tree pose. So bring hands to heart center once you're balanced. And then if you want to try, lift your hands all the way up, pointing to the ceiling. Try and hold here, breathing normally. And then bring the hands down and then release the foot. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So bring your feet hip distance apart. And just relax for a moment in mountain pose. So hands facing forward. Take a couple of yummy breaths. And then shift the weight onto the other foot. And then when you feel balanced and ready, lift the other foot and place the foot either on the inner calf or the inner thigh. If you focus on something, on a point in front of you, it should help you balance. The hands can either be at heart center, or if you want to bring your hands above your head, then do give it a go. And hold here in tree pose. A couple of breaths. And then release the hands down and release the foot. And then stand again in mountain pose. And just take a couple of breaths in mountain pose. This is actually a really nice pose just to do anywhere, anytime. Eyes closed, relaxed. Okay, now we're going to come back down to the mat. So carefully and mindfully, come all the way back down to the mat and lie down on your mat. And we're going to relax here in Shavasana. So allow the feet to fall open to the side, allow the hands to palms facing upward, allow them to relax. Now if you put one hand on your belly and then do a lovely long inhale, and one hand on your chest, and just feel the rise and fall of your belly and your chest as you breathe. A couple of gentle breaths before placing the hands back by the side and just breathing normally, allowing all of the tension from the body just to release and flow out of the body after this yoga practice. And you want to relax everything, all of your muscles, from the toes to the top of your head. Just try and think of each and every muscle, not every one, that would take a while, but each and every major muscle group, and just allow them to relax. Focus on your breathing, focus on those muscles, relaxing. And just breathe in this yummy Shavasana, final resting pose in yoga. Feel how your body is now from how it was in the beginning. Hopefully you've released some tension and you're feeling much more relaxed. If your mind is sort of thinking about day-to-day stuff, try not to focus on the negative stuff. Only focus on the positives. Think about the good things in life. And then you want to just circle your hands, circle your feet, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, and then stretch, a full body stretch. And then relax for a second. And then bring the hands above your chest and rub your hands together. Create some heat between the palms. And then when you have some heat, place the palms over your eyes and just allow that lovely warmth to just sink into your eyes. And then give your eyes and your face a gentle massage with your fingertips. It should feel really lovely. And then relax, however is comfortable, before you bend your knees, and then come over onto your right side, or your left, it doesn't matter. And just relax in fetal position, just for a couple of breaths. And then when you're ready, you want to push up with your arms and then come into a comfortable seated position. Namaste. We're done. I hope you enjoyed it.